Now, families and campaigners are taking their concerns over the future of special needs provision in schools to the Houses of Parliament on Monday. It's an event organised by the Send Matters Coalition, SEND's standing for Special Education Needs and Disabilities, and it's going to bring people together to discuss the government's proposed reforms, which were published in a white paper recently. The school's white paper, in fact, which outlined plans to support more children with additional needs in mainstream schools, helped by extra funding for specialist teachers and therapists. Some parents, however, fear their children would not cope in this setting and that their kids' specialist or alternative provision will be lost. Joining me now is Ollie Lee. Welcome to the show.
Hi, how you doing? Hi.
And Ollie is with his son Joshua. Welcome to the show, Joshua.
Welcome.
Joshua has autism and he's attended both mainstream and specialist education settings, and he'll be speaking to parliamentarians on Monday alongside his dad, Ollie, as well. Ollie, let's start with you. Tell us about your own situation as a family and Joshua's current provision.
Well, I mean, too often decisions are being made about children with SEND without listening to the children and the families that are living it every day. And you see, Monday's really about changing that, because children like Joshua, they're not asking for special treatment. They're asking for a chance to learn in environments where they actually feel safe. So like many autistic young people, his biggest challenge is they haven't come from autism himself. They've come from being in an educational environment that doesn't really understand his needs, you see. Now, most importantly, we need to listen to the children and what they're telling us. I mean, recently I read an incredible thing from an 18-year-old young lady called Eve, who runs a really big social media channel, and she did a survey herself, and she's overcome autism, survived domestic abuse, and she surveyed 270 students, and it wasn't what the students actually said, that, you know, what they were saying was that they said that basically that 14 of the students says they don't feel safe in a school environment. That's nearly half that said they feel anxious. That's almost 70% that don't feel comfortable when asking a teacher for help. And things like that, they should really concern all of us. And it's, as I said, it's not about blaming teachers. Many teachers, they're doing an incredible job under normal pressure, often within a system that simply, it's not equipped to meet their needs of every child. And that's about recognising the current educational system. It's not designed for many SEND children in mind. This is why so many children are now out of school without suitable placement. You know, Joshua's story isn't unique. It's one I'm hearing time and time again over at Ask Ellie. Different families, different parts of the country, but the same heartbreaking story. Children who want to learn, parents that are desperate for help, and a system too often failing them both. We can and we must do better. And that's why stories like Joshua's matters, because he's not just speaking for himself, he's speaking for thousands of children whose voices are rarely heard. And if we generally want reform within SEND, we have to start listening to people living this every single day. And that's why Monday is so important.
Well, we are going to be listening to Joshua on Monday. Joshua, what are you going to say to the MPs that you meet on Monday?
I'm going to say about how my school life's been, how I've seen friends go, how my mental health's been taking a toll on me through all these years.
And what kind of support would you prefer to see, Joshua, for you personally?
For me, that's a good question, actually. I would really actually see a good support system, like getting more therapy, helping my mental health even more, trying to uplift myself, trying to find more friends. It's very hard to do that.
Absolutely. Well, Ollie, I got involved in a lot of issues when I was an MP, and the frustration I felt as an MP on behalf of the families that I saw was people constantly having to reinvent the wheel in terms of the provision for their children. It was like, in almost every case, I hope this doesn't sound facetious, it was almost like the local authority was dealing with it as though they'd never experienced a case like it before, and the bureaucracy and the obstacles were extraordinary.
Absolutely.
But having said that, there has been a movement since the time of Margaret Thatcher, really, from the 80s onwards, to get children with special needs into mainstream school. There's a point of view that says that the default position should be that children should be educated in mainstream schools, which comes perhaps from a misplaced belief that children in special needs schools are cut off from the mainstream of society, and that is seen as a bad thing. So what would be your answer to that critique, if you like?
There's good and bad in both. You see, I think that children thrive in the right environment, whether it's a specialist school or it's a mainstream school. There's no one set thing that's right. What I do see at the moment with the likes of the white paper that, as it stands, it's gonna fail a lot of children, and I don't think that with a lot of the MPs that they're bad people. I think they're ill-informed. I don't think they really understand. And a classic example of that is Bridget Phillipson. I mean, I've reached out time and time again to get Bridget Phillipson to listen. I mean, she's doing all these social media posts that she's putting out with celebrities, but time and time again, she's not reading the responses from the families that are posting within her comments, in my comments every day, that are saying that you need to listen to us, and she's not doing that. It was really funny because I was talking, again, I keep coming back to Eve, who's this young lady. She's got an amazing channel. She has over 750,000 followers, and even she's tried to copy Bridget Phillipson on behalf of herself, or what she's been through, and the students that she's got, and again there's no response. This is just highlights where we're at, the problems that we're facing at this moment in time. Monday is about changing that. It's about hopefully getting these people into a room to listen by getting a voice to do that, and that's kind of what we've done with Ask Ellie. If the platform that we've put out is to support people and to listen to people, and that's what needs to happen, and we don't feel that's listening. We don't feel that is actually happening at the moment.
What do you say to people who say, special needs education is hugely expensive, that there are more and more children being diagnosed with special needs? Some people would say there's almost over-diagnosis, and that costs have to be contained, that someone like you perhaps is campaigning for something that is ultimately unaffordable.
Well, they've got money to get, top influencers to come onto social media channels. They're wasting money left, right, and centre. The tribunals cost an absolute fortune. Over 90% of tribunals are appeals are overturned at tribunal. All these things cost money, and the problem is, if we don't deal with this now, while children are young, if we don't get each level of this correct, this is going to have a knock-on effect to society as we progress through as the months and years to come. Children will fall out of education. We will have more stories like the Ruda Cabana stories of children with autism that weren't picked up. This starts at the very beginning. So when we think about cost, there should be no cost when it comes to the children in this country, because they are our future. We have to get this right. It shouldn't even be something that's being considered at this moment in time. And if we take away the precious funding that's already in place for the few children, because let's face it, most parents that are out there, they're not even able to get the local authority to listen, to put the funding in place in the first place. If it gets any worse, it's honestly, I don't know where we're heading, and that's why I'm campaigning so hard for inclusion within mainstream and in specialists. We can't cut back. We need to look at what we've got and see where everything stands at the moment, and we have to look how we use that money in a better way. We don't need to be spending the amount of money we're spending. We just got to be a lot more sensible in how we do that, and we do that by MPs and the people in power and the people like Bridget Phillipson coming into that room on Monday and listening to these families that are travelling from all over the UK with a little money that they've got to try and have their voice heard. And that is what is important right now.
Joshua, is it going to be your first visit to the Houses of Parliament?
Oh, it's been my second time to the Houses of Parliament.
So you're a veteran. What do you think about the Houses of Parliament?
House of Parliament is actually quite nice, the experience, isn't it?
It's falling down, Joshua. It's very old. It's a very old building.
We had a cup of tea, though, didn't we?
Yeah.
We had a cup of tea and a scone.
You had
British,
a scone.
very British. And a picture. Did we see a picture?
Yeah.
Just a picture.
Did you have cream and jam on your scone?
Oh,
Yes,
yes. Yeah, we had cream and jam.
Joshua, you got to settle a big debate. Do you put the cream on first or the jam on first?
I would say you put the jam on first and the cream.
I can't believe it, Joshua. I always thought you put the cream on first and then the jam, but I've now been taught a lesson by you, and no doubt you will go to Parliament on Monday and teach some MPs and members of the House of Lords a lesson. I wish you all the best of luck. I had a fantastic special needs school in my constituency called Fitzwarren in Wantage. It's absolutely amazing, and I passionately support the desires of parents to get their kids the education they deserve and not to have to fight their way through the thickets of bureaucracy that are put in their way. Thank you so much to Ollie Lee and his wonderful son Joshua for spending time with us on Times Radio.